right, so we got a regular season win total of 6.5. What are you feeling on the Jags this season? Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. That way you never miss one of our brand new shows, the Picks and Parlays Power Hour. We're talking football Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to jam that bell for notifications.
Well, the Jags last year, I mean, what can you say? It was obviously a disaster. There were so many detractors about Urban Meyer's character, and obviously they were right. It was a miserable failure. He was just 2-11 as a coach in the NFL. Now, Doug Peterson has been brought in to help a team that has had 10 losing seasons out of the last 11 years. Peterson, he was 42-37-1 with Philadelphia. He helped them earn a Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence's first year was pretty much a miserable failure as a rookie. He'll be hoping for much better results as a sophomore. But clearly, it wasn't entirely his fault. He only had multiple touchdowns, though, in just twice in his 17 starts. He only completed 59.6% of his passes. But yeah, as I was just about to say, it was hardly just his own fault. He had very little weapons around him. He had a terrible line in front of him. So, I mean, this over-under line of 6.5 does make sense, though, because the Jaguars, they've only won 6 games, more than 6 games, just once since 2011. So, Travis Etienne, he's back with Jacksonville. He's looked really good in camp, it's been reported. But will his return and will Doug Peterson's hiring, is that going to be enough to push Jacksonville over 6.5? Well, obviously, Ellie, we got to look at the schedule. And so if we look at the schedule here, it's not an easy one, in fact, for Lawrence and the Jaguars coming up, which you would think it would be after finishing so terrible last year. But they're 4-point underdogs at Carson Wentz and at the Commanders in week 1. And Jacksonville is just 1-4 in its last 5 games, or last 5 week 1 games. And they've also lost 16 straight on the road, dating back to week 15 of 2019. Week 2, they're 4.5-point underdogs at home to the Colts. Actually, Indianapolis is 0-6 at home, or 0-6 in Jacksonville its last 6, interestingly. And then in week 3, they're 10-point underdogs to Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Week 4, they're 6.5-point underdogs in Philadelphia. Weeks 5 and 7 is the only time in the whole year that they're favored. They're 3.5-point favorites to the Texans, 1.5-point favorites, they're 3.5-point favorite versus the Texans, and 1.5-point favorite over the Giants at home. Week 8, the Jaguars, they're over in England. Jacksonville is just 4-4 in games in London. And then they face Derek Carr and the Raiders as 3-point home underdogs, followed by a trip to Kansas City where they're 10.5-point underdogs. Then they host Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They're 4-point home underdogs. Then they're on the road in Detroit as 2.5-point underdogs. And so then over the final 5 weeks of the season, they have to face the Titans twice. Tennessee is 9-1 the last 10 in the series. So, yeah, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, they're only favored twice out of their 17 games. I said off the top, this isn't a very easy schedule for a team that finished so horribly last year. So I do think Jacksonville is going to be slightly better this year, but I think that improvement, it will indeed, be very slight. So the future probably will be better for the Jaguars, but not this year, Allie. I'm going under 6.5 wins.
I mean, I think you have to. By saying their season is going to be slightly better, so they win 3, so they win 4, because that's slightly better. 6.5 is a lot when you look at what they did last season. And I remember seeing a stat as Trevor Lawrence was coming out of Clemson, that he had gone undefeated since high school. He had not lost a football game since high school. And so for that to be your inaugural year in the NFL, that had to sting a little bit. And he's a solid quarterback. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's definitely got the gumption in him to pull it together, but it's not just one guy in the NFL. In college football, one guy can kind of carry a team in a way that you can't in the NFL. I wish them all the best. I really do, Jaguars. I wish you all the best.
Pieces. a few more pieces on both sides of the field. Absolutely.
Exactly. 6.5 is just too many to make a bet on at this point. So I'm with you. We got to take this under. It's the only way we can do it. Now, like I was saying at the site, you guys are up about $1,300 over the last 30 days. That's the insider's room. What are you guys doing to make all that money, Nick Parsons?
Well, as Higgs was saying, I mean, it's just baseball right now. Actually, we've been playing some CFL. We're 7-2, our last 9 in the CFL. But as he was mentioning, yeah, the NFL is right around the corner. We finished 9-1 over the playoffs and Super Bowl with our picks. So we're taking that run into the preseason. We also like to bet a lot of preseason. I mean, we got your back covered in every sport. Come check out the Insider's Room over at picksandparlays.net.
Yes. And when you do that, don't forget about that promo code CFL. That's going to save you 20% off whatever you purchase from the Insider's Room. #1 over the last 30 days. Thanks for stopping by, Nick Parsons. I'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Ali.
Cheers.